Hey, it's Richard again. Welcome back to the channel. I've talked a little bit recently about profiling tools for teams, for individuals, and the relative merits of some of them and the benefits of some of them. Something I've been asked in the past is which is the most important personality type? Whichever system you're using, whether it's DISC with the D, I, S, and C, whether it's Myers-Briggs with their 16 different personality types, or Wealth Dynamics with 8 types, Belbin Team Roles with its 9 types. When we look at categories of people, sometimes it's quite natural to think, which is the best one? Which is the most important one? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Look at the context of your organization. Look at the context of your business. In fact, look at the context of your nation or the planet, and then tell me which one of those types can we manage without when we're trying to solve the problems that we have to solve. Look at your organization. You need people who are creative and have new ideas. You need people who can engage an audience and get in front of the client. You need people who are fact-focused and rigorous with data. You need people who can work with detail, people who can design, people who can manage projects, all different, very, very different sets of skills, different characters, different personality types. They're called different things in the various systems, but we actually need all of us working together with all of our skills and all of our abilities in order to move ourselves forward. Whether we're talking about, typically I talk about organizations, about the technical types of companies that I work with, but actually look at the nation, look at the world, look at the challenges that we face, and then think, well, which of those types of people don't we need working and pushing in the right direction to solve the problems that we have? The answer is we need all of them. And of course, if we don't understand who we've got, if we don't understand our own personality types, our own skills, abilities, attributes, gifts, well, how will we know how to contribute? So it's really important that, number one, we realize that a well-rounded team, it might sound obvious to say it, but a well-rounded team needs all of those skills working together in harmony to deliver the results that it's going to deliver. A problem is sometimes when you work with organizations of a particular kind, you find a certain type of person can be very prevalent. In very design-led organizations, you can find very rigorous, introverted, design-based people, very thorough, very accurate people who want to get into the detail of everything. But you tend to lack people who can think in a strategic way, who can look at that bigger picture, to use a cliche, who can establish a vision and encourage people to move towards it. Conversely, if you're in the more creative industries, there are plenty of people with brilliant ideas and vision and creativity, but actually sometimes they lack enough of the right kind of people who can manage a project, who can drive something through to completion, who can pick one of many options and say that's the direction we're going in and lead that way. So yes, we need a well-rounded team. It seems very obvious to say it, but actually sometimes that's quite hard to achieve because we bring people into our team for technical skills very often in technical industries. Whereas actually we sometimes need people who have a particular personality where their skills and attributes might be different to the rest of the team. They can be a great asset. It's so important when you are working on personality profiling that you do it objectively. Because one of the worst things that can happen is we can have in our mind's eye, that's the most important type, that's the one that I want to be. And when we're filling in the test to try and determine what our personality profile might be, we can skew that. And I say this through bitter personal experience because many years ago, as a younger man in my career, people around me who guided me were saying, you ought to be chasing the top of that pyramid. You ought to get yourself into leadership, into organizational leadership and management. And I believed them and thought, great, that sounded like a good idea. So when I filled in a particular personality profiling tool, I filled it in thinking subconsciously almost, how would that kind of person answer these questions? Lo and behold, it told me my personality perfectly matched the sorts of roles people wanted me to pursue and apply for. And I did. And for a few years, I tried those kinds of roles out and I absolutely hated it because they do not suit the kind of personality that I have. Some years later, as a slightly older, still young man, I guess, I filled in a similar personality profiling tool, got a completely different result because I did it more objectively. I got an accurate result, and it showed me that I wasn't that kind of person that's happy sitting at the pinnacle of an organization. It showed me something else. It showed me that I make a great guide, a great teacher, a great mentor, a great speaker. That's the kind of work that I pursue. That's the kind of work where I find my state of flow, where I add the best value as a strategic guide, as a mentor, a coach, a consultant to the organizations that I work with, helping the organizations, but not leading the organizations, because I filled the test in a more accurate way. So it's a recipe for heartache if you think that's the best role. I want that role, therefore I'm going to skew the test results. Do it accurately. See what the result shows you for you, because no matter what your personality profile says, you have a contribution to give. Your skills, your abilities as you are needed by your team, by your nation, by the world. And it's only when we start to unpick and understand these things that we can begin to understand where our place is within the whole picture. I'm going to speak a bit more about this on future videos because it's a subject that I'm very, very passionate about. But in the meantime, do check out my website. Plenty more information on there. Do like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate if you did that. Have a great week, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.